What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? It's your main man, Juggernaut of Multi-Platinum Production Team.
Arkatech Beatz.
Shout out to my partner, Mike Trauma D. Welcome to the music production and beat making live streams. This is night 83. Listen, we've been on here every night. We've been cooking up, making beats, answering questions, helping people about the music business, and really just showing people how to use this MPC and really in building beats and doing music production. For those who don't know me, man, I'm responsible for working with your favorite artists, Big Pun, Nas, Prodigy, Mobb Deep, Jadakiss, The Game, Killer Mike, Raekwon the Chef, RZA, Meek Mill, Freddie Gibbs, Sci-Hi, Shorty Low, so many others, Waka Flocka Flame. You name it, we've done it. So, you know, every night I just kind of cook up. I pick some samples and stuff, and I load them into the MPC, and then we kind of start trying to build some tracks. So if it's your first time here, make sure that you're following, make sure that you're liking, you're subscribing. Hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button, and all the other good stuff. But shout out to everybody, you know what I mean? So today I was going through some drum samples, and I came across this. And everybody knows that's an oldie but goodie. And I said, you know, I want to use that today. So let's get right to it. Let's go. I set it at 89 BPMs, 4-bar loop. And then what we're going to do with this now, because we don't want to just use it as it is. We want to kind of make it our own. So I'm going to add a little bit of a EQ to it, beef it up a little bit. But this is where we're starting at tonight. And then we're going to add some other stuff into it. And we're going to get busy. Make sure that you are sharing the live, liking the live. That helps the algorithm. So who were the early inspirations that got me into the game? You know, like Tribe Called Quest, Leaders of the New School, shout out Busta Rhymes, Mobb Deep, M.O.P., Smooth the Hustler, Onyx. If I'm being honest, man. Pete Roxy or Smooth, man. Shout out Cynthia Blount, man. Thank you for your gift. That's a constant supporter. I appreciate her. I got some samples in here that we're gonna try to build with. Right? We're gonna start there. With this one, what we did is we just kind of pitched this up by one, just to kind of get us where we want it to be. And there's some more elements to it. Y'all ready? That timing is off. Let's try it again. We're gonna get this, what you call it, something here is off. People's asking me if it's butterfly in the sky. It might be, but it's not. It definitely got that feel though. Stick with me. You want to add that bass line in already? gonna add this vocal sample in. Let's go. Just stick with me, man. You want to add some effects to that? You want to make it sound a little bigger? Pause. Let's go. I know people are like, yeah, where you going with this? Come on now. This is day 83. Y'all supposed to know better. Let's go. Do the lead first. Let's go. What up? What up, Juan? Richard Mays, what up? Free Society Beats, what up? Shout out Unique. Yo, make sure I hit that like button, man. Let's go. Let's help the algorithm tonight. Maze, what up, man? The DAW that we're using right now is FL. I kind of move between FL, Serato, and then MP3, the MPC 3. I'm not sure. new bass is cool. Can't get that note. It's killing me right now. Got it. Vito, yo, it'd be these summer days with these kids, man. I was trying to get down here at 10 o'clock. My kids wasn't letting it happen. They was like, yo, Dad, I need this, I need that. Dad, can you help me with this? Can you do that? Yeah. Gotta be active, Dad. You know how it go. But we gonna be here, bro. So I got on like a little bit after 11. Gotta keep the family intact, bro. You know how it go. And about the thing about this business, man, and that's probably my singular regret, you know, now that I'm talking about it, is that you know, chasing this business, um, it 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 kind of prevented me from starting my family. You know what I mean? So considering that I've been with my significant other for since 2000, my kids are only 8 and 10, right? And we put off that time to have those kids because I was, moving and grooving. And the regret behind that is that I wind up losing my parents in 2018 and 2022, respectively. So all that time that my kids could have had the benefit of my parents, they didn't have that. You know what I'm saying? Like my other nieces and nephews. So while I was out here chasing the chicken and trying to build a legacy, those things suffer. So this is all a part of the prioritization of the game. You know what I'm saying? It's like trying to balance what you really want versus what your dreams and aspirations might be. You know what I mean? So I tell everybody, like, listen, you got to prioritize your family. Like, that is probably, like, once you start dealing with those losses, you start to realize that is probably the most paramount thing that you need to deal with from day to day. And that has to be prioritized because, the days aren't promised, man. Hold on. I need to get this bass line heavier. We're going to work this bass line, get a little effects on it, get it a little bit stronger. Kind of wanted to pop through the speaker a little bit. Or through the headphones, rather, because I can't listen to it on the speaker right now. Shout out to everybody that's in the live. Mike Sang, what up? One Deep, what up? Craft, what up? What I'm probably going to have to do with the I'm gonna have to probably work and getting the camera closer, because I've heard a few people ask me about that. So when I get into it tomorrow evening or tomorrow afternoon, let's try to see if I can bring the camera a little bit closer, and not so much focus on the pads and more so focus on the screen. You know what I mean? Because right now it's kind of like a full view of the MPC versus more so just really what's going on the screen, because the screen is really what it is. But ultimately, I want to move from the screen to the software, right? So I want to move to that. I want to be able to, because they're kind of in tandem. You know what I mean? So once you kind of start working with the MPC software, it's almost real-time controller. So ultimately, we're going to move to that, where it'll be the MPC software, and then you'll be able to see everything going on from there. Get that down. I don't like the timing of that. We're going to see if we can change it. Like it needs to be just a nudge back a little bit. Like, you know what I mean? Nothing too crazy. But it'd be the stuff like that. So I'm going to just highlight these notes a little bit. I'm going to nudge it back a little bit. I'm just nudging these back. And what I did is I hit the note repeat button and I changed the grid, right? Because you can change the grid from 1/8 to 1/16 to 132. And what that's going to do is it's going to give us different places to where the notes will land, right? And remember what happens when you're dealing with the beat. Beats are broken into grids, right? You got bars, 4 bars, and then inside of the bars there are individual grids. And when you mess around with the note repeat button, it kind of gives you markers within the bar. And if you're trying to keep your stuff on timing, like I like to keep my stuff on timing, some guys like their stuff to be a little off timing. I like to keep my things really like in sync, you know. So they're gonna fall somewhere within these note parameters. All right, so I got my bells in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just add a little bit more reverb to that. And then what I'm going to do, add a little bit more delay to it. Add my flavor in here. And then I'm going to bring the note down. I'll just bring it down a little bit. So it's in the mix and not really standing out, but just kind of like ear candy, right? That's what we're looking for. We're looking for stuff to enhance on the sample, because you see what I'm doing is I'm doing stuff like I got samples. This whole thing is all really loops, you know what I mean? So now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to add my individual, touch to the loops, right? And that might be either through pitching, through adding strings, through adding other pads and patches, 808s, and just trying to get it where we want it to do. Get it a little bit further than where it is. We'll add that first note at the beginning. Rockosaurus, what up? Now we're going to turn this into 8 bars. And we're going to extend these samples now, right? Okay, these samples are 8-bar samples. They're not 4-bar samples, so we're going to let them play out. I think I want like a, kind of want a synth pad. Listen to this track. Chad, I need a name for the beat, man. Let's find a name for this beat, man. Shout out to everybody that's in the live, man. Appreciate y'all. I got on late tonight, man, on a Tuesday night. We're going to do better tomorrow. What up? Zach, what up, man? I hope all is well, man. Fantastic Four. It's all good, bro. I was going to name it Bonita Peach Bottom. Chad, I need a name for the beat. Let's go.
Arkatech Beatz. Arkatech Beatz.
What type of beat, Vito? Irrelevant Savage. It's called Irrelevant Savage. Yeah. So, first, let me find that beat because I did that a while ago. And I actually didn't do that in the MPC. We did that. We did that in the in Serato. I don't even know if it's on this computer. It might not even be on this computer. I'm thinking about it. Let me make sure. Yeah, here it goes. It is called Irrelevant Savage. Let me download it. I need to see if I can get this into the system. Chad, I need a name for this beat. Thanks for playing. What's up? Yeah, I was gonna go with it seemed like a little Sun Summer record, right? We're gonna call this I don't know. I'm gonna call it Summer Peach. Or Summer Peaches. Because we're in the peach state, I guess. They call it China White. Alright, so this is what I gotta do. Let me do this real quick. I saved the beat. I'm gonna go into standalone mode. Or controller mode rather. So I can bring over that track that my man Vito talking about. And Vito was talking about a record that we did with an artist out of Harlem. His name is Shooter93. Shout out to him. And I was telling the story as to how I even found homie. Like he came across me. I came across a YouTube video for homie. He came across my feed. And this is the power of social media, man. Like, you know, he came across my feed and I saw the video, and immediately what happened when I saw the video, I was like, yo, I like this vibe, you know, I like what I'm hearing. And then what I wound up doing is I did some research on the artist, you know, and this is what we got to do, especially if we're looking to make music for a particular artist. And I just listened to his music. I was listening to like the speed in which he was rapping and the tempo, and that's what played a lot into us building that record. And it was just listening to him and then just trying to get a feel for his vibes and stuff like that. So then we started to build the pack for him. And then once we reached out, we sent it to him, and he was just like, yo, this is right up my alley, because we did our research. You know what I mean? And a lot of it is because you got to do your research when you're trying to get with these artists. You got to kind of know what they're going to sound good on. And I think that is the role of us as producers, is to really think forward and say, okay, what is this artist going to sound good on, not just now, but 6 months from now or a year from now. Which DAW do I use? I'm using the MPC software, and then we're gonna move over into but my primary would be FL Studio, and then we would go from there. So let me play this beat for y'all who are not familiar with this beat, because I know some folks are like, yo, what is he talking about? What beat is he talking about? I'm gonna play this beat for y'all. This beat is some time ago though. I ain't gonna hold y'all. We did this beat maybe almost 3 years ago. Let me see here. Places. Go here. All right, this beat is called Irrelevant Savage.
Arkatech Beatz.
Hold on, this is not right here. That sounds funny to me.
Arkatech Beatz.
So with this beat, man, like I said, this is done in Serato. I didn't do this on the MPC. And I could tell by the fidelity and the way that it sounds that, you can tell that it's not in the MPC. The MPC is way louder, in terms of how that would be done. But with something like this, bro, it's gonna start off with a piano loop, man. And we gotta find a good piano loop that's gonna really. We gotta find a good piano loop. You know what I'm saying? And then we gotta get a decent tempo on that. So let me see if I have anything in my samples that might make sense. You know what I mean? And then listen, like these type of piano samples, they're easy to come by and they're hard to come by. And I don't know if I'm saying that right. Like, it's like pianos pianos can go two ways. Pianos can go like really soft and sultry, and then other times it can be really dark and sinister. Because on that particular track, the main loop is the do dun 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 dun, and then everything else I play out the dun 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 dun, and I play all of those out. And if you notice, in a lot of the productions in the live, like I'm always adding in that type of low end piano. You know what I'm saying? On some Dr. Dre type, Scott Storch, trying to really get that bottom piano going crazy, because that's really what I like to feel. I like to feel that kind of aggression in some of my music, right? And then just finding the right notes, and that's really just a basic drum pattern. But then again, just finding the right sounds, man, and then we just use a hit on that. I would go, track lib, splice. You know what I'm saying? Those are the go-tos for me, man. You know what I'm saying? I believe that might have been out of Splice. If I'm keeping it 100. You know what I mean? Like piano loops are abundant in there. You just got to kind of look for a certain style. You know what I mean? Sometimes it'd be soul. Sometimes it'd be cinematic. Sometimes it'd be, you got to put in keywords. He said 90s is back. I don't know if 90s is back, but let's try that. All right, so we see that this is the one thing about using the sample royalty sample joints like splicing and mat and track lib and those things are typically going to be marked with like BPMs, so you kind of know where to start. All right, so typically what I do here is I set my BPM here, and then I do warp and I add on the beat sync, and of course we're gonna turn the tempo to match what the sample is, right? And then what we gotta do is we gotta determine if we're gonna go up or if we're gonna go down. Let's do that. I'm gonna name this track. I just copied the track. I'm gonna name it, and I want my samples on a separate track. I'm gonna add some effects to this. We're gonna do it just like that. Now the only reason why I'm not using the rest of the sample is because it starts to kind of go a little too pretty. Yo, Vito, man, appreciate you on the super chat, man. Listen, let's go. So listen where we're gonna go next, right? And this is just the way my mind works with this, right? I'm gonna go into a stage piano that I use in the MPC. It's kind of a go-to. It has a good heavy sound. All right. We're gonna go back to our sample. We're going to look at what the key is. Remember what we did is we tuned it down. So we tuned it down -8. So that's going to put us in the key of E, right? So when we go back to our plugin with our stage piano, we're going to press the pad performance mode. We're going to set that key in the same key, right? Key of E, E major. Then we're gonna put it on Pad Performance Chromatic. Right? Hold on 1 second. Right? All right. Let's add that low end, right? Now we're going to double up the octave. All right. Let's add these hats in. All I did is I overdub. So when I had the higher octave, what I did is I laid the higher octave first, then went back, overdubbed, then did the lower octave, and just do it on top of each other. If you have a keyboard, you can play them at the same time, but my keyboard is away from me. Normally on my keyboard, I just play it at the same time. But I'm trying to do everything in the MPC. Now the question is that we want to do it. The question is how we want to do our hi-hats, right? If we go this way, it's gonna make the beat feel slower. All right. I'm gonna add an open hat to this, right? Let's go. Hero, what up? Shout out to Hero Beatz. Use that one to make it nice and heavy, right? Let's go. We're gonna go back to the 1/16th as far as the time signature. something down real quick. Let's make sure our notes are lining up. All right, we just want to make sure our notes are lining up, man. Always want to make sure that your notes are lining up with your stuff. Do I prefer key groups versus 16 levels? Key groups give you more control. Right? 16 levels is what we used to use old school, man. And that used to really be a headache in terms of tuning your 808s. Now, what I'm using in this particular 808 situation, I'm using a plugin. This is a plugin in the MPC called Subfactory. Definitely worth investing in that. Pad performance, to me, you have more control. Pad performance is much more like, because remember, you can change. You can put in like chord progressions. You can go from chromatic, which keeps everything in key, and then you can go into notes, which will give you the traditional notes across the pads. So you have way more options going into pad performance mode. Let's add the 808s in real quick. Now from here, Vito, we're going to fill up this whole thing with ear candy now, right? So it's going to be different sounds that we're going to do now to kind of draw out to make it more sinister, right? Now we're gonna get that sound. And then we want to go to our samples.
Arkatech.
Remember, this is the key of E, so you want to make sure that our air candy is falling into the same vein. Now, you could add swing if you want to, bro. Too long. And sometimes it's like that. You just gotta try to find the right one. Let's do that one instead. Try it again. listen, you just kind of want to play around with different phrases and things that you might be able to add that may make it sound like it's part of the sample, even though we know it's not. And remember, this is all part of that process. And us trying to figure out what's going to go with this thing. Typically with this, we use probably a tremolo string because it has that kind of that vibrato, and it'll kind of go good with the trill. So let's see if we can find something in here. This will be using studio strings. So you hear the vibrato in that string, right? Add the stringer real quick. We're gonna bring the mix down into the mix. See what we just did? So we're going to add that in now as just part of the hook. You know what I mean? And it'll give it a little bit more of a theme, right? So we want now what we're doing is we're creating a visual for this record. add that in for the relevant savage. Let's add the fall in. Alright, we're going to do one change here, right? You're going to change this open hat. I think we should be good. Now what we did with that open hat, now you see how it changed the whole how the beat feel now. So now like it gives us a different feel. Like this is how we have to understand how these instruments change up the feel of everything, right? If I change the hi-hats, it changes the feel. If I change the open hats, it changes the feel. If I change it where the 808s fall, it changes the feel. The string line, it changes the feel. So all we're trying to do is we're just trying to make sure that we're finding the pocket that we know for who we might be wanting to make the music for. So if this was a record that I wanted to shoot to shooter, it's right there. You know what I'm saying? It's in the lane that he would be in. We found the piano, like we started with a piano. You said how we did that. We started it from the piano, and then we just added all the elements in, and we just built around it. Having the 808s and stuff like that, that kind of brings it home a little bit more. And then when we add in like the air candy, like will be the the 808s is going to always do. It's definitely going to do something crazy to it, right? But the other parts of it too, like think about it like this. I need to name these tracks. Hold on a second. Let me name these tracks. I don't know what they are. This one is the piano. And even with the piano, we can probably add more notes, right, to make it transition a little bit better. But, you know, this is really the sake of an illustration, right? And I hope that I'm answering your question, like, in terms of this type of music. This type of music, like, remember, this is making a strong comeback between, like, the Clips and Stove God and these guys, Griselda. Like, this I believe will start to dominate music again, the underground sound again in the next, you know, it goes in cycles, man. You know, the trap had it in the chokehold for almost 20 years, man. So it had to come back in some way or fashion because people want to hear lyrics again. Now, the only thing that's going to stop it from really progressing is if we don't get the lyrics to have more meaning behind them. You know what I mean? Like, you know, that's one thing that I like what's happening with the Clips is that the Clips is the lyricism is a lot more thought provoking, and I think, you know, we want bars, but we want bars that are kind of age worthy. That's the first thing, right? Because we want to grow with our music, and then at the same time, we want things to be clear. We want there to be passion in that verse, and then we also want stories, right? Paint the pictures. You know, like how they talk about, you know, the last time talking to their parents before they passed away, like, you know, that record really struck a chord with me being a person that lost both parents, you know what I mean? So, you know, you're getting at that age, you know, when you start to really lose your parents and your life starts to change, your money's different, this is happening, you have kids, and then, like, these are the things that we want to hear translate into the music that a lot of our today's artists just refuse to do because they don't know how to eloquently tell the story of, you know, passion, pain, and emotion, you know what I mean? So we hope that it'll get better. But in the meantime, Chad, I need a name for the beat. Vito, I'll leave it to you. because it's going to be inspired by Irrelevant Savage. I'm gonna just keep it in the vein of Savages, and I'm gonna probably say Savage Blocks. You know, we're making street music, man, and street music is funny, man. In my older age, street music is still at my core, but at the same time, I'm like, man, I can't play this for my kids, man. It's crazy. My daughter said to me the other day, she's like, I like that beat, Daddy, but it makes me sad. I had to think about that for a second. You know, the emotion was coming through. Story to it, and then the siren is basically, you know, the indication of either someone got hurt, I don't really have a best headphones. I just have a headphones that I'm using. If you go to our website, arkatechbeatz.com, the link is in our description. We have a gear list. You can scroll down into the middle of our page. It shows all of the gear that we use for our lives and that we use here. This is an Audio Technica headphones. It's in my opinion, it's kind of accurate in terms of like what I'm hearing here, and then what I'm going to listen to on my Yamahas later. It kind of translates pretty well. So, you know, and they're a little durable. You know, it's something that's not too expensive, but you know, you're not really supposed to be like mixing in headphones and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Vito, that took us about an hour to cook up, right? Didn't take us too long, right? This is our second beat today that we cooked up. For those who are coming into the live late, we cooked up a beat earlier, and then my man Vito Corleone, he asked me about a record that we had done with a artist out of Harlem named Shooter93. Make sure y'all check him out on Instagram, Shooter93. Definitely a dope guy. Dope music. And you know, he was like, yo, can I, you know, reconstruct something similar or in that vein? So that's what we tried to just find a piano sample, and we did all of that in real time. So, you know, for the most part, I think we came out pretty good. Kind of did a slick rhythm roulette, right? Pick a sample and make it work, right? And that's what we did tonight, you know what I mean? So I got a few more minutes before I'm going to jump off. But if anybody got any more questions, man, just drop them into the chat. And I'll do my best to answer the questions in terms of like any music industry, music business, music production, you know what I mean? Social media marketing, e-commerce. Just ask away. headphones shouldn't make the beat sound sped up. That's a little strange. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it shouldn't sound. Your headphones should not be sounding like it's speeding up. That's something going on in the DAW. Headphones should not be sounding like that. Headphones are supposed to be a regular. I'm not sure what's going on with that on the. You know what I'm saying? Mike uses the Apollo. I use the Scarlett. It shouldn't be pitching anything. That, you know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't be anything being pitched. It's supposed to be a true representation of what's going into the system and out of the system. Worst case scenario, if you are using an MPC, is that correct? Just let me know if I'm tripping. Nah, I shouldn't be speeding up at all, bro. Yeah, if that's weird. That's weird. Plug into your MPC and, probably plug your headphones directly into your MPC and do everything out of the, and then listen from there versus listening through the DAW. You know what I'm saying? Get into the habit of, if we're using the Live 2 or we're using the MPC X, get into the habit of using the box to do everything and then going into the DAW. Like, leave the DAW for last. You know what I mean? Like really get into the habit of building everything inside of here, because if you think about it, it has the fidelity and it has the plugins. You know what I mean? So, it's really, what you're really doing is you're really adding an extra step, right? Because you can actually do everything inside the box, mix and everything, and export straight out, right? So going back into a DAW again, it's not necessarily cool. It's not really necessary, unless there's a plugin that you have to have, a mastering plugin or something like that. And this is something that and you have to realize, like, when you talk about, like, the record that we did for Shooter 9-3, right? That's in Serato. The record that we did for Lloyd Banks, Taking Notes, that's in Serato. Do I only use drums in the MPC? No. This particular beat, if you listen to this beat, like, let's go through the tracks, right? Right, we have different sounds in here. This is a fall sound, right? This one has a siren in the pad. Whatever you load into it, you can use, right? And I have this sound in here. It's called a trill, right? Hi-hats, of course. Snare, kick, sample, right? And here I put piano in here. There's piano patch that I played in here. And then we put 808s. And we had strings. So yeah, different instruments and everything in there. Splice samples are, in my opinion, that's what you guys should be using. Splice, TrackLib, etc. Royalty-free sources, man. You want to make sure that you can maintain as much of your songwriting ownership as possible. So that's just my take on it. Being a producer that had to split up all of your songwriting credits, especially in my latter years. See, now in my latter years now, your publishing becomes your retirement plan. That's what nobody wants to talk about. So your publishing becomes your retirement plan, but you dramatically decrease your publishing when you're sampling this and sampling that and sampling this and have to cut up your songs. So if you're able to get your songs placed and get big, get good radio play, etc., then you're not really dealing with, you get to own a larger percentage and chunk of your songs. So remember, this beat was called, we call it Savage Blocks. I'm going to go into a beat that we did yesterday. I'm going to go into a track that we did yesterday. I'm just playing some stuff that we built in the live yesterday. If you missed the live, you can always check those lives back on our YouTube. You know what I mean? If you've missed the previous lives. The beat that we did yesterday, well, we did a beat called Transactions. Well, no. We did Blue Magic the day before yesterday. Yeah, it's like that, man. Them samples, man. Them samples, they're a gift and a curse, man. You get the sample might get you placed, but it might not get you paid. Man, that's really the issue. So it's a risk. And don't get me wrong, man. There are some records that you gotta sample it. They just sound so damn good. You know what I mean? This record is called Blue Magic. I think we did it night before last, or was it last night? It was last night.
Arkatech Beatz.
Gibbs will sound good on this. Even 2 Chainz, Killer Mike. We did that like 2 nights ago. Or last night. It was last night we did that. And then I did this the night before last. This record is called The Jukes. Shout out to my homie Sean Anthony Baker. He's from the Bronx. I can't help, what they name these records. Sometimes the chat names these records something crazy.
Arkatech Beatz.
Arkatech Beatz.
Some drum breaks you may have to clip. If you take them right off of a record, and they can come back to you for that, yeah. A lot of times guys don't clear the drum tracks, but they should. Watch out for the change. This is where I like to beat the most. Go. Listen. And then we did another joint called Transactions, and this one's a little bit different. We took some drum loops and we reversed them. Right? We played a lot of it backwards. So the core of the beat is a backwards set of drums, and then we took some samples, we wrote them on top, and we tried to get something that was just unique. You know what I mean? Something.
Arkatech Beatz.
Jen W, thank you for your super chat. Appreciate you, man. Can't wait for Max B to get home, man. We just want this joint straight clips, right? I tell you, boy, if I could ever, if they ever let me do a clips album, if they ever put me in the same room as the clips, bro, you put me in the room with the clips, y'all put me in the room with the clips, I'm telling you. It's gonna be a bloodbath. It'll be a straight bloodbath, yo. I ain't gonna even hold you. Straight bloodbath, bro. Man. It's a D block. It's a D block joint. Listen, man, there's so many. I try to just do, this is the thing about making tracks too, man, especially when you're trying to continue, like, we've been doing this for 83 days straight, bro. Sometimes I'm doing 2-3 joints in a night. So.
Arkatech Beatz.
Listen, we trying to get at Larry June, man. Larry June's another one, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, a lot of these guys, man. Listen, a lot of these guys, man, you gotta give it a chance. You know what I mean? Like, we're making back some rounds. Yeah, we're making back some rounds, man. You know what I'm saying? Everything is really about access. Everything is about, like, access.
Arkatech
I know somebody was asking me about Larry June.
Arkatech Beatz.
You hear it. And there's like so many beats in here that I haven't even finished. Like, all of these tracks, you can't really see them, but if they're not finished. Like, these are joints we built, and I have to go back and I gotta mix them and then export them. Like, I try to mix as I go along. In some cases, I can do the whole track, but that tends to take a lot longer. And that, some people like to see us make more than one track a night. You know what I mean? You ready? This one is called Intravenous Drugs.
Arkatech Beatz.
Back to the hook. Listen, bro. Listen. Somebody said they could hear the clips on that too. Listen, man. In a perfect world, man. In a perfect world. Tina in the building. So Vito, you hear like some of the same elements that we use for Irrelevant Savage, right? And you'll hear it, man. Like, you know, you're just adding onto your sound. That, you know, things, you know, as you start to develop your sound bank and you start developing your style, you'll start to kind of have an idea of like, okay, you're gonna have your go-to sounds. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the nature of the beast. I don't think I finished this. Nope. I didn't finish this. That's crazy. I didn't finish it. I'm about to get up out of here. Yeah, I didn't finish it, man. There are some joints that I just don't get a chance to finish. Shout out to everybody that's in the live, man. Shout out to all the people that sent super chats. Shout out to everybody that's liked the live, shared the live, sent gifts, roses, all that other good stuff.
Arkatech Beatz.
I like Russ. I hear that. This is one of my joints that I like the most right here. Where is it at? Where is it at? Here we go. This is one. This is one of my. It's one of my go-tos before I get out of here. We've been live 2 hours and 23 minutes. It's crazy. Crazy being live for 2 hours in the middle of the night. definitely one of my faves. He's so fresh and so clean. It's crazy though. Like, like we have done a lot of music in the last 83 days. When I get to day 100, I'm gonna throw an online streaming party with that, bro. Like, it's just gonna be like, yo, we went 100 days streaming, and we're just gonna do all the highlights of what we did. How do you formulate your beat structure? Like, do you go from intro to hook, verse, etc.? So it varies, right? Some beats will allow you to do an intro, but I kind of try to stay away from that lately because of the short attention span that folks have. So we try to get right to it because we're concerned about people just hitting fast forward, because sometimes the buildup of the beats, people are not really big into that unless the buildup is really like crazy. You know what I mean? Like, if it's like something that sounds really big, then we might go with an intro. But typically, in a lot of these joints, like if you can see my screen a little bit, we probably we go right into the hook, and then we have a hook that will have a tag, and then a hook that doesn't have a tag. Sometimes I might have a 4-bar intro, and a lot of times we were refraining from doing intros because we were concerned about guys stealing your samples and all of that. But now with stand separation, like, all that stuff is like, it don't even matter anymore. So ultimately, you just kind of want to get to the record as fast as possible, especially if you're trying to sell your music, in terms of like if you're a producer trying to sell your music. If you're an artist, then I would make my intros not too long, because you kind of want to get to it, because again, we're into swipe culture. You got about 5 seconds to catch the listener. So you want to pay attention to how your music is starting off if you're an artist. You have to make sure that, we have to make sure that there's a audible hook, right? That's going to keep people engaged long enough to get to a part of the song that's the most prevalent or most important. But what else do I got here? Do I have anything else here? Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna try to work on that. So, say for example, this record is called Magic Sun, and I'm gonna show you what that looks like. And I do my stuff in 8 and 12s. We try to stay away from 16s. So only on a few beats you hear 16 bars. But here you're gonna see, like, this one is gonna be, the hook is gonna be 8, the verse is 8, and then the second part of the verse is 4.
Arkatech Beatz.
Right? like to make the hi-hats, you know, a little bit of velocity, you know what I mean, to kind of make some of these beats move. Because if you think about it, these tempos aren't really fast. Excuse me. 80 tempo and 78 and that type of stuff, those are not fast tempos, you know what I mean? So you have to do stuff with the hi-hats to make it feel like it's going faster than it really is, you know? But I'm about to wrap this up. I'm on of course I gotta always play my girl Cody before I get out of here. My girl Cody will definitely hey man, you can always watch that back, you know? So Jen, I appreciate you.
Tired of the heartache, tired of the heartbreak. For all of the things that we go through, it's what I get for loving you. Tired of the heartache, tired of the heartbreak. For all of the things that we go through, it's what I get for loving you. Never will we fight again. Always thought we'd be just friends. Thought that we'd be together for the time we'd see. Never wanted to be with this.
Everything is
Couldn't understand a thing. And I wanna know why we're not together. Why we're not together.
if you notice, right, a lot of the stuff that I'm programming is when I'm programming it, I like to hold on to my note repeat button, right? Right? Because my note repeat button is gonna keep me on. Now, if I wanted to have more swing, then of course I would go into my here, and then I would play with the swing to make it, you know, stand on or off the bar or start before the bar or whatever. Because you know you can add swing, you can shift the timing, but you know, I don't like to. You know, I seldomly are sitting here doing drum triggering. I like to make everything on I use my note repeat pad along with me hitting the pads, and what that does is it automatically shifts all of my notes to where I want it on the grid. I'm very much a grid producer. If I want a sound to shift, sometimes we can shift the timing and the timing correct. Or I may alter the starts and endpoints of samples to make it feel like it's shifting on the grid, right? So I may take a kick, may add a little bit to the front, you know what I mean? To you know, take some of the space away from the snare and to make it seem like it's triggering later, you know what I mean? So those are also another trick. But even the kicks, sometimes with the kicks, man, like if you notice, like you definitely can see my my wave here, right? So say for example, right, if you notice like this kick here, if you can see that wave, look how much space we have here before it starts, right? We can cut that off, and when we start cutting that off, that'll change where it'll change where your drum hits on the grid. So it can make it slide a little bit sooner or make it go a little bit later, depending on where it is. So, you know, always pay attention to your samples, you know, where they are. See how much space I have on the back of this? You know, like these are things that you can change. If you don't have any space in the front of the sample, then of course, then you'll have to shift it in the on the grid. But for the most part, you want to do that. So folks, we'll be back tomorrow. My goal is to get here between 9 and 10 o'clock. If you don't see me get on at that time, it'll be a little bit later. If there's ever a time when I'm not going to get on, I'll do a post and I'll say, yo, I'm not going to be on for whatever reason. You know what I mean?
The things that we go through, it's what I get for loving you. Tired of the heartache.
You know what? I gotta play the other record. I'm sorry, cause I like that record, but I like this one more. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate you for rocking with me for the last 2.5 hours on this thing, man. You know what I mean? Like for real. Like, you know, there's a handful of people that I know that come through every night, and they're on this live with me, man, from the beginning to the end. And I appreciate those folks that are doing that. And then you know, folks that are here to learn. We're here to show you what it is. What's going on here?
It's a late night. It's a late night.
It's weird. Why my drum ain't playing? So strange to me.
Arkatech Beatz.
It's a late night, I don't mind. I was gonna spend all my time with you.
Ashton is crazy. That's my girl right here.
It's a good night, it's a good time. I was gonna spend all my time with you.
Peace, y'all.
Wasn't sure that we would end up. I saw a spot when I met you. I just wanna be around you, make sure you're straight, so I got you. When I needed you the most, you came through. And now I'm feeling closer than I thought I'd ever be to you. It's a late night.
Appreciate you, Vito.
I don't mind. I was gonna spend all my time with you. It's a good night, it's a good time. I was gonna spend all my time with you. If you down, we can do whatever. Know I got you, we'll be straight forever. Boy, I like it when you wear that sweater. Always tell you that you look better. When I needed you the most, you came through. And now I'm feeling closer than I thought I'd ever be to you. It's a late night, I don't mind. I was gonna spend all my time with you. It's a good night, it's a good time. I was gonna spend all my time with you. It's a late night, I don't mind.
Shannon, what up?
I was gonna spend all my time with you.
we built all of that, here on the live, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, listen, man, make sure y'all are following. We will be back tomorrow. I appreciate everybody for rocking with me, man. Night after night, man. When we get to 100, when we get to night 100, I'm going to play all of these joints that we did. I'm probably going to be a 3-hour stream. It's going to be like a DJ party. I'm going to play all of these tracks. And, we're just going to reflect on the work that we did and look how much work we would have done in such a short period of time. And, it's just a testament. And I try to tell folks, listen, man, just stay consistent with this thing. Post regularly. Yeah, man, and post regularly so that you can start to build your social, start to build your content library, you know what I mean? But just check some of these things out, man. Night after night, we're here, man. Night after night, man. But for everybody, man, I just need everybody to be safe. And I'll catch y'all tomorrow, man.